In order for us to enjoy games, somebody has to make them. And you'd think it'd be as simple as somebody having an idea and then making it. But there's so much more to it than that. Much, much more. First off, what are my credentials? Like, what have I done that allows me to talk about this kind of thing? Well, for those of you that don't know, I was community manager at one of the top UK game studios for almost 4 years. And during that time, I worked with pretty much every aspect of development that you can think of. Everyone from artists to designers to producers to tools programmers, and everyone in between. When it comes to game development, I think it's important to know that there's two very different strings of it. You've got the casual and then you've got the professional. Now, the casual side of game development are those that are doing it for fun, have a bit of a laugh, see if they can create something, learn more about it, or they may be a mod team who love a game and they want to keep it going, so constantly make new updates, make new assets, and maybe add even new characters and new weapons. Often as well, those who are making games casually in this way are also trying to build up a showreel in order to get into the professional side of game development. And in terms of the professional side of game development, these are those who are contracted or employed to create games. And in this video, I'll be focusing on the latter, as that's where my experiences lie. Sadly, I'm not smart enough in order to make my own game. Maybe one day, but I can barely program an Arduino, let alone engines and physics and stuff. I'll leave that to all of the clever people. There's two main points that I'm going to be talking about in this video, but I'm going to do numerous other videos as well in follow-up to this, talking about tons of different aspects of the game development cycle and path and differences and key areas which I think are important to share and for you guys to kind of learn about. But the first point in this one we're going to be looking at, games need to make money, much like tons of other things in the world. And that's one of the reasons why we're seeing so many Battle Royale games be made at the moment. Battle Royale is like this fresh new thing that's come out and everyone's jumping on the bandwagon to get stuff done, and even I'm on board. Like when PUBG came out, I jumped across and I've been playing that ever since. It stopped me from playing CSGO Constant and a couple of other games I played a bit casually. Yeah, PUBG just took over, and I fully expect Black Ops 4 Blackout to take my attention when that comes out this weekend. But anyway, games need to make money in the same way that movies need to make money, or TV shows need to make money, or supermarkets need to make money. Okay, the supermarkets one is kind of bad because it doesn't run into what I'm talking about next, so forget I said that. All of these things, games, TV shows, films, they all come from a creative place, but it doesn't stop them needing to make money. If they didn't make any money, then you wouldn't really be able to afford to make them in the first place, unless you had tons of money already sat in your account, in which case, give me some. And there's loads of different ways you can make money, both across making TV shows, films, and also games, of which the monetization of games I'm going to be covering in another video, so just bear with me on that one. And this need to make money, and it is a need, can often create interesting hurdles or challenges which you need to overcome during the development process. As much as we don't like it, the need to make money can often dictate certain decisions throughout the process. And again, this is the same for games, for films, for TV shows. Like the budget that you have may force you to need to green screen or chroma key in a backdrop as opposed to going out on location. Or it might stop you from hiring the actors that you want for a TV show, because otherwise every student film would have Samuel L. Jackson and Tom Hanks in it. The dream. Actually, have they ever been in a film together? Has anyone seen them in the same room together? Are Samuel L. Jackson and Tom Hanks the same person? And my second point is, everybody wants the best for the game. And this is great because it shows passion, it shows that everybody wants to get involved, and it shows that everybody wants to do the best that they can. But it can also be a bit of a hindrance too. To explain what I mean, listen to this. The artists want the best art, the programmers want the best performance, audio want the best sound, designers want the best functionality and features, marketing want big updates to market, and community want what their players are asking for. Not to mention investors, studio heads, partners, and hell, I haven't even covered the entirety of the development team. You've also got narrative, tech art, concept testing tools, and again, the list even goes on further. And with every single one of these groups, everyone wants to do the best job they can, everybody needs time to do it, and somehow you need to find a balance between everyone to make the damn thing. And this is why producers are so important. They make sure that everything is running smoothly, everybody's got the resources that they need to do the job, and everybody's got enough time to do the job that they've been given as well. There's a famous saying that the last 20% of the work takes 80% of the time, and from my own personal experiences, I'd say this is definitely the case. Like, I can take the footage from this video and put together a rough cut with all the naffy bits taken out, of which there's quite a few, relatively quickly. However, doing all the extra shiny bits, grading the footage, adding in the soundtrack, making sure that the volume levels go well, adding in the bits at the start where like the text kind of flops in and stuff, doing the outro when I add in all those titles and whatnot. Like, all of these bits, they take so much longer to do than the general edit or putting everything together of the video. So trying to save time there as much as possible is a godsend. And this is essentially what producers are able to do. They create this plan that everybody runs by and sticks to in order to make sure that everything is done on schedule at the right time. So once someone's finished their chunk, they can pass it on to the next person and they can begin. For example, concept art, finishing concept for a character or a map or something, and then passing it on to the environment and the character artist to then get their stuff on. Even though there's always a plan, there's one rule of game development, and that is everything can change. You could plan for every eventuality under the sun, but something will happen, it will knock you for six, and then you've got to figure out what to do. And that's when producers shine. But because of this everything can change rule, and quite often it does, it makes it difficult to communicate with players and let them know what's going on and what the plan is. And it creates this awkward juxtaposition because you don't want to let down your players by communicating something which could change, but at the same time, you don't want to not communicate anything because then your player base will feel alienated. It genuinely is a really hard thing to try and resolve and to try and to plan and to communicate, because you're always going to have a split understanding of things. You're always going to have one side who appreciate being told and they understand that things change and the fact that you've communicated to them, they're okay with that. But you always have the other side who are just, it's the worst thing ever if you say that something that you have said about is now changing. And I completely understand and I empathize with both sides of the table. I love communicating things and I hate telling people that it's changed, but I don't know. Like I said, man, game development is hard. It's not an easy thing. Like, it's so hard. In terms of communication with players, that's also another topic which I plan to go a bit more in depth in another video, but I've kind of picked a topic which is huge and trying to do everything all in one go is just not going to be possible. So bear with me, there's more videos coming. In terms of communication and game development, it's really easy to get upset if there's a delay in a feature or if something happens or changes that you're not really a fan of. And I'd say definitely let the development team know how you feel, but there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. Sometimes it may feel like the only way to get a point across is to be mean, but I assure you this is not the case at all. Please, just believe me. From my experience, either most things or everything posted in the Reddit and the forums does get read. And just because there's no replies doesn't mean that they haven't been read. As soon as people start replying, this generates more replies, and then it becomes this whole rabbit hole of discussing and talking to people one-on-one where you could be creating posts to talk to everyone on a wider scale. So just because there aren't any replies doesn't mean that you haven't been heard. A while ago I read an article online about how the Hearthstone developers don't go anywhere into like the public domain. They don't go on Reddit, they don't go on forums, they don't go anywhere just because of the amount of backlash they got from their player base. These are the people that are making the thing that those people love. And for them to be berated in that way, it's really unfair. There's no way that every decision they make about the game is going to make everyone happy. That's just an unfeasible idea, you know? Like, there's so many people enjoy it, so many people have different thoughts, feelings, and enjoy the game in a different way. To think that every update and every change is going to appease everyone, it can't happen. Decisions and updates need to be made for the best intentions of the game itself. Sometimes that doesn't align with what players want, but it's a necessity. Going back to the people being mean to the Hearthstone developers, I know what that's like. Like, I've had my own fair share of death threats over the internet. But the way I see it is it's the internet, and that kind of thing is to be expected. It doesn't make it right, but it's kind of just what happens in a really sad way. And to be honest, what's a sweaty nerd with a keyboard gonna do? you know who you are. All in all, game development is really hard, and please remember before you next shitpost that the people you're talking to and about are real people with thoughts and feelings and emotions. Please, just don't be an arse. And that's it for this video, so thank you very much for watching. Like I said, there's going to be many more of this kind of topic or along the lines of game development coming to you in future, so look forward to those. But you won't see them if you're not subscribed, so hit the big subscribe button, enjoy the content that's coming, and I'll see you in the next one. I don't know what to do. Bye-bye.